A stroke is a brain attack.
A stroke or a brain attack is when there's been an interruption of the blood supply to the brain. Blood is passed through your brain, through the arteries, and the arteries have either burst or there's been a blockage, and that causes you to have a stroke. There are two main causes of stroke. You can either have a clot or you can have a bleed. A clot causes ischemia, and that's where the area where the clot has happened dies. And the clot is caused by a thrombus, either in situ in the artery or coming from somewhere else as an embolism. And people who have atrial fibrillation in their heart may find that their heart throws out these little clots. Their heart is beating irregularly. It throws out little clots, and these clots get caught either in the carotid artery or a bit further up in the brain. But whatever happens with a clot, you get a blockage in an area of the brain which is defined. A bleed happens when the artery bursts, and it's a hemorrhagic stroke. And that is really because the pressure's been too high in the arteries, or because there's a weakness in the artery wall. It bursts, it bleeds, and it causes a lot of damage because you don't really know where that blood has gone. It seeps and it causes damage along the way. Whereas with a clot, you do have a defined area of a stroke. There are signs that you can look for to see if somebody is having a stroke, and you can look at their face to see if that's drooping, ask them to raise both their arms. If one of their arms falls or waves away, the likelihood is they've had a stroke. And if their speech is slurred or if they're talking a lot of rubbish, then that is another indication that they may be having a stroke. Another thing to check for is time, the time when the stroke happens. That's really important. And then you dial 999. At the time that these signs are happening, you don't know whether it's a stroke or whether it's a TIA. A TIA is a transient ischemic attack. It's transient because it's passing through. It's ischemic because you do have a little bit of death to the area of the brain where it's happened. And it's an attack because it's short and sudden. A TIA, the symptoms of that are exactly the same as those of a stroke. And they may only last for about half a minute. They will all have gone by within 24 hours. Lots of people don't know they've had a TIA until they have a stroke. And about 15% of people who have a TIA will go on to have a stroke within 2 weeks. Therefore, a TIA is a warning that you need to do something about it. So the quicker you get into hospital and have the test done, the better.
If you'd like to talk to someone about the issues raised in this film, call our helpline on 0845 3033 100.